Welcome back, reactors, to another reaction to none other than Rings of Power. Episode 4 is officially out on Amazon Prime, so I'm here to give you guys yet another reaction. A reel it in reaction. Now, with 4 episodes out, hopefully this one is better than the last episode. The first episode, I liked. I feel like I'm part of the small majority of people that like the first episode. I loved the first episode. The second episode was okay, but the third episode for me did not do. I was bored at times. There were some enjoyment, like the beginning of it and the ending of it, but everything else in between episode 3 I did not like. So hopefully episode 4 is an improvement for myself. You might have liked every episode so far, but for me, it's been an up and down road. Hopefully episode 4 is much better than episode 3. I feel like it can be. It should be an easy task, but we shall see. But thank you guys for tuning in for this reaction. Make sure you guys hit that like button because it truly helps. And you might as well hit that subscribe button while you're at it because we're only on episode 4. We still have 4 more episodes left to the end of this first season of Rings of Power. But with that being said, it's time to reel it in.
May Númenor's strength arise in thee. Her wisdom guide thy steps.
That does not sound good. Sound like earthquake.
Just needs a stretch.
That was no stretch. Like I said, that was no stretch. Well, the title of the episode is The Great Wave, so that explains it. Oh, it was a dream! I thought that was going to be real. Of all things to dream, she dreams of a giant wave washing away the whole city. That's crazy.
Now, what seems to be the trouble?
We may have a bit of a squall on our hands.
People are rising up.
The Queen's either blind or an elf lover. Just like her father. Elf lover! Elf lover! Elf lover!
Men of Númenor, or a gaggle of mewling children?
Tell them straight.
But now one elf could threaten us.
This man walked in and is taking over. That's crazy. He has a way with words.
Elven hands will never take Númenor's helm. She will remain, as always, a kingdom of men.
The power of men! Men!
I call on you to finish the task left undone. To reforge the alliance between Númenor and elves. And fight with me. To save the men of the Southlands. Before Sauron claims their lands for his own.
Númenor has chosen another path.
Your father, the king.
You should not speak of matters you do not understand, Galadriel, daughter of Finarfin.
And you should stand aside, that I might present my proposal to one who holds the authority to answer it.
Lady Galadriel, that is quite
And with
enough.
what authority do you speak, elf? That of your people? Or are you a castaway, grasping for a handhold in a tempest?
There is a tempest in me, and it will not be quelled by you, Regent.
Well, locked away.
Who now, cadets?
He clearly does not want to be here. That is what I'm getting. But he's hearing a calling. Dang, you're gonna get someone killed.
I've seen you ease that halyard proper 100 times. That was deliberate. You're off the sea, gone! All 3 of you!
Way to go! You got your friends fired.
You sorry? You just set our whole lives on fire! I did everything I was supposed to do to earn it, and what did you do? What have you ever done but brood and blubber about your dead mother?
Oh! Yeah, you crossing the line right there, man. That's crazy for him to, fire his friends instead of the main culprit. The guy that lets it go. The orcs.
Orc.
Adar.
Adar.
That's the one that got stabbed with this tree branch. Here he comes. Adar. I will say this. The orcs look amazing in this show. The orcs look really good. Ah. Half elf? Half orc? Is that what I'm seeing? Do my eyes deceive me? Or is that an elf orc? I can tell from his eyes he did not want to do that, but it had to be done. Adar. I love saying his name.
Why do the orcs call you father?
That's a good question. Another one of those hyenas. Orc hyenas.
To untangle it all would all but require the creation of a new world. But that is something only the gods can do, and I am no god. At least, not yet.
What are you?
Half orc, half elf.
Go to the men who've taken refuge in the old watchtower.
He's letting him go?
Deliver to them a message.
What message?
That Sauron is here. Or on the way.
Should never have let you talk me into this.
Why else would they show that he has a sword on him? To use it. Not use it, but wield it. He's gonna have to fight like an orc. Something's inside this house. Someone's here.
Bronwyn?
Why would you announce yourself? Oh, hell. They operate in the shadows, my dude. Come on, Theo, get out of there. Behind you. Oh, he's an orc. Ooh.
Young blood. Where'd you get that?
Oh! Whoa!
Give it here. I found him! I found him! Where is he? He's hiding here somewhere. Bruce, send word to North Farm. Nobody sleeps till he's found.
Oh, come on, kid. I mean, you can't blame him. He got hit in the head with a bucket. Holding his breath. I would have came out of the water like, really slow. You know what I'm saying? Really slow. Let's get an Elrond and Durin link up in this episode. I love those two together.
They keep putting me off. One would almost think it's suspicious.
Are you suggesting Durin's got himself a wee girlfriend?
There is none other than you, my lady.
I know. Who'd have him?
Damn.
If Durin is mining quartz, why would he leave without taking his chiseling axe? And why would you be preparing his favorite meal if he's gone to a chasm that takes 2 full days to descend to?
Ooh, he's put it all together.
Because the quartz he's mining isn't chiseled. It is pride. I am making moletail stew because it needs a wee while to set before he's home. Dwarven climbers like my husband can make the descent to Quartz Chasm in just a few hours. Was there anything else you wanted to ask about, dearie?
No. Thank you.
She's hiding something. I feel it. I know you do. I know you do too.
I just hope he believed me. He's
See?
not easily taken in, that elf.
Certainly not. We're making good progress in the old mine.
The old mine below the Mirror.
You lost, elf.
Way to go, Elrond. Way to go.
I knew it!
What is this place?
Do you really expect me to believe you do not know? But this was not the true reason he sent you here to begin with. You want it for yourself.
Durin, want what? I care nothing for whatever is in that chamber. I do care for you. For this friendship.
Hand to mountain. You'll never breathe so much as a whisper of what I'm about to tell you to another living soul.
Oh, snap. This is really, really serious.
Do you swear it, Elrond?
Do ya?
I swear on the memory of my father.
Harder than iron as weaponry, it would best our proudest blades. It might be dearer than gold.
May I?
So you really did come all this way just for an egg yolk?
I came because 20 years is far too long to stay away, even for an elf.
Aww. Friendship.
Keep it. Token of our friendship.
I love these two. They are by far the best parts of this show. These two. We need more of these two.
You're it now! There's 4 dwarves down there! You're in!
So sorry.
It's all right. So how about this? I'll do the floors and you do the goblets, and the last one to finish pays for dinner.
I'm not in the habit of going off with strange young men.
Very wise. If I see any, you'll be the first to know.
Yeah, hey, write that down. Write that down. That was smooth.
Write that down, write that down!
Well played, sir. Well played.
All of a sudden, she throws you in a cell. Why?
I asked her to fight for your people.
But that wasn't what provoked her anger, was it?
I demanded to speak with her father, the king in the tower, who no one has seen in years.
You are to be shipped back to the elves under armed escort tonight.
Oh, tonight. Pronto.
I wouldn't advise that. I can't very well let her leave.
Yo, she put all 3 of these guards in the cell. I know she can fight, but what were the other 2 guards doing? Just standing there? That was way too easy.
Got us all dismissed. I just ruined my friends' lives. Shamed our family name.
I understand he doesn't, want to be a part of that. But instead of, almost causing harm to everyone else by doing what he did, he could have easily just went to the commander and said, I want to quit. That's what any normal being would do in that situation. Just, poor decision skills by him.
Apologies, Your Majesty, for the intrusion. But
He no longer answers to that.
Oh, snap, that's her father.
A garrison of troops who waits outside to escort you to your ship. You would be wise to go willingly.
Your father was loyal to the elvish ways. Why are you not?
Explain it.
And when he announced plans to renew relations with the elves,
the people rebelled.
That first night, as all Númenor slept, he brought me here.
Palantir.
I must warn you.
I have touched Palantiri before.
But you have not touched this one.
Be careful now. Oh. Oh, see the great wave.
It is Númenor's future you saw. My decision is final.
A decision based in fear. Choose not the path of fear, but that of faith. Let Númenor fight alongside the elves once more.
Trust.
Faith may bind one heart, Galadriel. But it is too fine a thread from which to hang a kingdom. I'm sorry.
Theo? He's back, but Theo isn't. That should tell you something.
He said he'd be right behind me.
Stop pushing! She must be
Liar. My man is still sitting in the well. That's crazy. I know he's freezing. They weren't kidding about staying up and getting no sleep to find this man. Jeez.
Boss will skin us alive if we don't find him. Boss is the one who lost him in the first place.
Woo! That was close. That was close. Hey, how many of them are there?
Not here.
Hey, this is like all a one shot. I'm loving this. Be careful, be careful. Dang, dude, I knew it. I knew it was gonna happen.
Losing your arm will loosen your lips.
Ooh. Just in time. Ooh, it's a lot of them. Use that bow and arrow. What? Oh, yo, it's a whole army of them. I'm not liking this. I'm not liking this. Something bad is about to happen. You get these slow motion shots and you think something bad's gonna happen. Bruh has aim assist. The sunlight is their protection. Man, I would start dropping them right now. That's what I would be doing. Like, you want to have a stare down? I'm guessing those 4 dwarves died.
Cannot stop thinking that if you'd not gone down there, Durin might have been in that shaft when it... I'm sorry.
For lying.
I'm sorry I lied to you.
You were faithful to my friend. That is all we need remember.
And this is why you tell the truth.
All of them alive.
Your father must be so relieved.
He shut it down. Sometimes I wish I could tell him exactly what I think of him.
But then, one night it struck me that I would be only too happy to hear any judgment. So long as it granted me the opportunity to have but one more conversation with my father. Do not waste what time you have left with yours.
That was a good,
How is it that you and my husband met?
I told you, I saved him from a hill troll. Two
of
of them.
There were 3 trolls, and it was I who saved him.
The story changed so quickly.
It was a battle cry.
The screams were so high-pitched, I thought it was a child, so I took up my bow.
It was a sword.
See? We need more of these too.
Forgive me, Father. I was proud and stubborn, and I was wrong.
Open up, speak. Speak how you feel to him.
Am I with you, my son? Sometimes in anger, most of all. There is nothing to forgive.
I didn't think this scene would play out like it does. I'm happy that it did, though.
Just like you took that hilt from me, boy. You know of what I speak.
Wow. He used to wield it too.
But do you know what it is? The beautiful servant. He was lost, but shall return. If you heard of Sauron, to be ready.
Ready for what?
You save your strength. You'll need it for what's coming.
Oh, snap. Now that's a dangerous warning.
We found it. It's in the tower.
Next episode, they're gonna bring the fight to the tower.
Your people will be relieved. They'll be gathering soon in the court and in the plaza to hear your announcement.
That elf is gone. She's still gonna have those visions, I'm telling you, of the Great Wave.
And so, I've decided to personally escort the elf back to Middle-earth. To aid our mortal brethren, who are now besieged in the Southlands.
Your queen has laid bare her intent. Our ships will depart in 10 days.
Who is willing to commit themselves to our Queen Regent's protection?
They don't want to fight alongside elves.
Step forward and make yourself known.
This is your way to get back in.
I will serve.
I will serve.
I will serve.
A few brave men stood up and made the choice, so that others will. Now that is the type of episode I've been waiting for. So, episode 4, what'd you guys think? Make sure you guys comment down below your thoughts on this episode. I'm gonna give you guys a quick review. I enjoyed this episode way more than the previous episode. I think we're all on the same page here. Episode 4 is way better than what we got last week, and it's a big improvement, and I highly enjoyed this episode. I was engaged. I loved the dialogue, the scene to scene. Everything was moving smoothly. We touched on a lot of storylines in this episode other than the Heartfoots, which is quite shocking. The best episode is the episode without them in it. You guys can take that for however you want. But out of the 4 episodes, I'm going to have to say this is a really good one. But I'm going to have to say episode 1 still hits for me. That's what got me engaged. That's what got me to say, you know what? I'm going to reel it in and give you guys reactions to every single episode of this season. And then it goes episode 4, where not much action was in here to satisfy us, but the dialogue, the scene to scene, the characters, the fleshing out of the story and who they are deep down is why I enjoyed this. But my ranking with the 4 episodes so far, it goes episode 1, episode 4, then episode 2, episode 3 is obviously last place. But we have episode 4, and man, was this good. Now, the start of this episode with as it's titled, the Great Wave, and to see that Great Wave, just for it to all become a vision was shocking. But I did enjoy that. I mean, the visuals, you know, I say it every episode, man, Amazon just be throwing money at the screen, and they reeled us in with that first shot with the Great Wave, and that was, even though it's a vision and it wasn't true, but it's what's to come, because the queen was having this vision and she thought, well, Galadriel's here and Elf is here. This is what they could bring to us, which it would be dooming us all. That's how she saw this one elf, dooming us all. So a lot of things were fleshed out in this episode, especially with the queen in this, compared to last week's episode where she appeared and it was just not much to do with her. Absolutely boring episode. I'll try not to speak about episode 3. But yeah. Now let's talk about Isildur. I think I just butchered his name. Hopefully I didn't, but I think I did. But that was quite shocking to me. He was zoned out. He was hearing the voices, as he does when he's on the ship. He clearly doesn't want to be there after we heard in episode 3 when he had that talk with his father, and how his father was like, I place you in this position to fulfill this goal of what I see for your future, and you don't want to do that. So in this episode, while his friends are working, he just decides to let go of the rope. Therefore, it could have killed someone just by doing that. Harm others, could be that. And then the commander sees that he deliberately did that on purpose. So he goes, you know what? I'm gonna not just fire you, I'm gonna fire your friends too. That was shocking. But like I said, he could have just went up to his commander and singled himself out and quit on the job. But with him making that decision, cost his friends basically their life. Like his friend said, ruin their lives. And I was so shocked by that. I was like, that is such a bad decision. Such a bad decision. Like, if his father found out what had happened, I mean, he doesn't, unless he later finds out in the episodes, but he doesn't in this episode. I mean, he would have flipped. But everything's all good because at the end of the episode, his friends were the first of the men in that big group to raise their hand to go fight the upcoming battle, which is about to happen in these last 4 episodes. We're halfway through the season, and war is about to happen. And his 2 friends stood up to the challenge. And once he saw that, and raises his hand too. And his father was, shocked to see that, but I think happy to see that his son was ready to stand up and fight. Now after episode 4, I'm expecting nothing but all-out war these next 4 episodes for the Southlands. If you're not reeled in by now, I don't know what else can possibly not have you reeled in, because episode 4 did that for me. This was a great episode. Other things I want to talk about is Galadriel and the Queen. Their scenes together was perfect. The 2 butting heads, but then coming together at the end of the day to look at the bigger picture and work together. I really enjoyed that. But, like I said, Elrond and Durin. We need scenes with them filled throughout Rings of Power. These 2 are my favorite characters. And I'm pretty sure they're a lot of people's favorite characters. And they are going to play a big part down the road in Rings of Power. But in this episode, they were great, and they were great in episode 2. We were missing them in episode 3, and I think that could have been the reason why episode 3 is probably not the best episode out of the 4 episodes that we have gotten. But Durin and his father, I really loved that scene. That was a great scene. I didn't think it was going to play out like it did. I thought his father was going to be mad at him. But at the end, his father tells him his truth, and the bond that they shared and had on that screen was great. And also, I can't forget the big bad who we have right now that isn't named Sauron, Adar. We finally see who he is, and what I saw with my own eyes, it's half elf and half orc. That is who he is. But we don't have enough of his backstory to tell his full truth of how he became to be. And so hopefully episode 5 dishes in on that. But I do like how we now know why the orcs call him father, or they show their respect to him, is simply because he shows his respect back to them. In that scene, it was just, the camera was focusing on the orc that was dying in his eyes. And you could tell he did not want to do what he had to do, but instead of letting this orc suffer, he puts him out of his misery. And right then and there, I was like, they have respect for this man. I love how that scene played out, but they let Arondir leave. But war is coming if they do not give up the Southlands, which it doesn't look like the people will. Which is why we're going to have elves working with humans in the next coming up episodes in an all-out war for the Battle of the Southlands, which is going to be good. That is what I'm looking forward to. And lastly, I want to talk about Theo in this episode. Woo! That scene, which it was a one-shot with him hiding from the orcs trying to leave that area, that was intense. That was intense, but it was even more crazy that he had to stab himself to ignite the sword. Just like how he saw in the previous episode where the blood made the connection with the sword, which then lit up the sword, so he knew he connected the dots. But I was like, you had to stab yourself to do it? I mean, if I was him, I'd make a little scratch on myself, therefore to ignite the sword. But this man stabbed himself with the sword to ignite it, and that was wild. Every single character that we saw in this episode was greatness, which is why episode 4 is such a great episode. It's almost taking place as my number 1 spot for the best episode that we have gotten of Rings of Power. But I'm giving that to episode 1 because it was such a good start, in my opinion. I would not hate you for putting episode 4 over episode 1 because episode 4 is just that good. I might look at you weird if you think that episode 3 is better than all these episodes. But yeah, this was a great episode. I highly enjoyed it. If any of the next episodes are anything like this episode, we are in for a good time. But I think episode 4 is what we all wanted and needed from Rings of Power. So I expect nothing less when it comes to episode 5, 6, and 7, and 8. I expect nothing less of it being as great as episode 4 is. And I believe that the show can do it. You know, we were up and down like this, and now we're up here with episode 4, so I expect it to shoot right on up and, you know, keep it going. But overall, reeling in this episode, I'm glad I reeled it in. This is a great episode. I give it a 4 out of 5. And if you wanted to know my rankings of episode 1 and 3, I never gave them. Episode 1 is a 4.5 out of 5. Episode 2 is a 3 out of 5. Episode 3 is a 2 out of 5. I'm being nice by giving it a 2. But yeah, those are my rankings of those episodes. But like I say always at the end of the video, like this video. I truly appreciate it. Subscribe. Turn on those notifications so you are ready for my next Reel It In reaction for Rings of Power or any other TV shows that come to the channel. But don't forget to comment what you guys thought about this episode. Obviously, I loved it here. I'm glad I reeled it in. Hopefully, you guys reeled it in and you enjoyed this episode, because I sure did. This is Reel It In Reactions. I'm Reel It In Miles. Pleasure having you here, and thanks for watching. Peace.